Hi everyone! Welcome to Rockport State Park, home of some really big trees. My name is Montana and I work as an interpretive specialist with Washington State Parks. For today's video, we're going to talk about one of my favorite trees in western Washington. They're often the tall, silent giants that tower over you in the forest. Any guesses on what this tree might be? If you guessed douglas-fir, then gold star, you're right. Douglas-firs are some of the tallest trees in the world, and they can live to be 500 to 1,000 years. Now, with that fact in mind, you might be wondering how they can live to be so old and grow to be so tall. Let's take a journey through time to see. Like all life, douglas-firs start small, the size of a teeny tiny seed. This is the beginning stage of its life cycle. With enough soil and water, this seed will begin to germinate and grow. This little sapling is growing out of a nurse log. What advantages do you think this tree might have versus a sapling growing out of the ground? The first advantage I can think of is that it's less likely to get stepped on by humans or animals. It's also less likely to get shaded out by other plants. This nurse log was once a living tree. For hundreds and hundreds of years, it grew up and up and up towards the sun, gathering and storing nutrients in its trunk. Now that it's fallen onto the forest floor, things like decomposers, fungi, bacteria, and insects are breaking this tree down, releasing hundreds of years of stored nutrients. Over time, our young tree grows and grows and grows, and the nurse log beneath it decomposes and becomes soil. Next time you take a walk through a forest, scoop up a handful of dirt. Go ahead and smell it. There are billions of microscopic organisms eating it. And just think, this handful of dirt was once a towering tree. Finally, after many years, our douglas-fir tree has grown 200 or perhaps 300 feet tall, and its trunk has grown much thicker. Its bark is now over a foot thick. One of the ways you can identify a douglas-fir tree is if you can shake hands with its bark. Hello, Dougie-fir, nice to meet you. Another way you can identify a douglas-fir is by their needles. Their needles are long, flat, and soft to the touch, and they grow all around the branch rather than on one side. Evergreen trees, they keep their needles year-round, and that's what a douglas-fir is. During its lifespan, our tree will experience many instances of harsh weather and strong wind. Big gusts of wind might come in, causing our tree to lose some branches. Hollows may form, birds will nest, insects will creep in, and our tree may even experience instances of fire. A long time ago, back when the plants and animals could speak to each other, there lived a little mouse in a great big forest. The little mouse was minding her own business, taking a walk through the forest when there was a flash of lightning, followed by a loud thunder. Plants in the forest caught fire, and so the little mouse started to run as fast as she could to get away from the fire in search of safety. She ran and she ran and she ran, and first she came to Big Leaf Maple and said, Big Leaf Maple, can you save me from this forest fire? And Big Leaf Maple replied, Why, little mouse, I might not survive this forest fire. You best keep searching for safety. Annoyed, little mouse kept running and running and running and running, and she came to Wise Old Cedar and said, Wise Old Cedar, can you save me from this forest fire? And Wise Old Cedar replied, Why, little mouse, it might just be my time to go. I don't think I'll survive this fire. You best keep searching. So little mouse kept running and running and running. Meanwhile, the fire was growing and growing and growing. And finally, she came to the douglas-fir and said, Douglas-fir, can you save me from this forest fire? And the douglas-fir replied, Why, little mouse, I might just survive this fire. Climb on up. So the little mouse climbed up the trunk and into the cones for extra protection. Meanwhile, the fire raged on, growing and growing. It had a grand old time sweeping through the forest. It had a party! And the Douglas fir was right. Its thick bark protected them from the flames of the fire. And so the fire passed by and the little mouse was safe. And to this day, if you look under the cones of the Douglas fir, you can still see the little mouse hiding under the scales. From that story, we learned a few characteristics about our Douglas fir tree. Number 1, we learned that its thick bark can help insulate its core and protect it from forest fire. Number 2, we can now identify the cones of the Douglas fir by looking for its mouse-like bracts. And number 3, good news, our tree survived! Over time, our tree friend has grown to be very old and very wise. And just like people, these trees, they can show their age by becoming furrowed, charred, and full of character. As with all living things, age can cause it to weaken. Over time, this tree will become weaker and weaker from things like diseases, insects, and storms. But even in death, this tree will make way for life. It'll stand tall and proud as a snag, providing homes for different creatures of the forest, such as owls, pileated woodpeckers, other birds, bats, raccoons, insects, and more. Finally, the snag becomes too weak to stand, and timber! It falls to the ground, becoming a nurse log, eventually becoming soil. The cycle continues. And maybe, just maybe, a tiny little seed will become embedded in the mosses of our old tree friend, and it too will grow up and up and up, live for hundreds of years as part of the old growth forest. Thank you for joining me in this virtual program. I hope you learned something new about this incredible tree and its role in the forest ecosystem. Rockport State Park offers the unique opportunity to take a walk through intact old growth forest. It's the chance to feel small and in awe by nature's giants. Do you have any special memories of a time spent at Rockport State Park? Be sure to share your stories in the comments. I encourage you all to go out and shake hands with the Douglas fir tree. And until next time, keep growing!